ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Thirty-fifth class. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay, you can repeat after me. Vasudevendra Yogindram
Vasudevendram
Atva Jnanapradam Gurum
Jnanapradam
Gurum
Mukshunam Hitarthaya
Mukshunamhitarthaya
Tattva Bodho Bhidiyate Sadhana Chatuштaya Sampannadikarinam
Sadhana Chatuштaya Sampannadikarinam
Moksha Sadhana Bhutam
Moksha Sadhana Bhutam
Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshyamaha
Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshyamaha
Sadhana Chatuштayam Kim
Sadhana Chatuштayam Kim
Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Nityavastu Vivekaha
Yamutrartha Palabhoga Viragaha
Mutrartha Palabhoga Viragaha
Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi
Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi
Mukshutvam Cheti
Mukshutvam Cheti
Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha
Nityavastu Vivekaha
Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma
Nityavastu Ekam Brahma
Tadyatiriktam Sarvam Anityam
तद्व्यतिरिक्तं सर्वम् अनित्यम्
अनित्यम्
अयम् एव नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः
अयम्
अयम्
एव
एव नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः
विरागः कः
विरागः
विरागः कः
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
इह
स्वर्गभोगेषु
सर्वभोगेषु
इच्छाराहित्यम्
समादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का
समाधिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का
शमः दमः उपरमः
शमः दमः उपरमः
तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
शमः कः
शमः कः
मनोनिग्रहः
मनोनिग्रहः
दमः कः
दमः कः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
परमः कः
उपरमः कः
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानम् एव
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानमेव
तितिक्षा का
तितिक्षा
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादि सहिष्णुत्वम्
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादि सहिष्णुत्वम्
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
समाधानं किम्
समाधानं किम्
चित्तैकाग्रता
चित्तैकाग्रता
मुमुक्षुत्वं किम्
मुमुक्षुत्वं किम्
मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा
मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा
एतत् साधनचतुष्टयम्
एतत् साधनचतुष्टयम्
ततः तत्त्वविवेकस्य अधिकारिणः भवन्ति
ततः तत्त्वविवेकस्य अधिकारिणः भवन्ति
In the Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, after the Shamaha meaning being alert to what I think, that is Shama. Now we are discussing the topic Dhamma. Dhamma is being alert to what I do. So there are two levels. There is restraint. 2-level management. Being alert to what I think, that is at the mental level, Shama. Being alert to what I do, that is at the physical level, at the level of action. At the level of action, Damaha. Therefore, Shamaha is Mano Nigraha, Damaha is Indriya Nigraha. Damaha is Indriya Nigraha. This Dhamma, which means managing the senses, sense management. Why the senses should be managed? Because they are the inlets of the Vishaya. Vishaya meaning the sense objects. Inlet, Inlets for the Vishaya, the sense objects, to enter into the mind. Once it enters the mind, it stays in the mind, and slowly it manifests in the form of desires, and then kama, that is desire is kama, then krodha, etc. It brings about a lot of problems, which disturbs the mental composure of the person, and therefore the person will not be available for Vedanta Shravanam. Therefore, knowledge will not take place. Therefore, he will be in samsara. So, therefore, at two levels, at the level of mind and at the level of senses, mind as well as the sense levels, we have two level checkpoints. So, at the level of the senses, at the level of physical sense organs, managing the physical and sense organs through managing the mind. If the mind management, if the mind is not managed, at least at the level of sense organ, at the physical level, at least if we manage, then we can bring down, we can at least bring down the disturbance, or we can bring down we can bring down the disturbance, we can bring down the distraction, we can bring down the resultant effect of the sense objects. At least if we have some control at the physical level. The data enter through the sense organs. So if you put a door, if you shut the door, at least we can prevent the data entering into the mind. Even though if we don't have mind management, even though that mind is not alert, at least at the Dhamma level, at the level of sense organs, you would be able to stop the sense objects entering the mind and disturb the person. Disturbing means disturbing the person spiritually. Spending time on things which are not required, it's a disturbance. It's not an effective time for a spiritual aspirant, for a seeker. The time is important. The more time you spend in Vedanta Shravanam, Vedanta Chintanam, it is going to benefit the person. The more time you spend, the more you gain. The spiritual life is nothing but managing the mind. Any Shastra you take, it all talks about managing the mind. Because mind alone is the karanam. Mind alone is the karanam for all the problems. Even for the problem of bandha, mind alone is the cause. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. If the mind is not taken care, then it brings about spiritual destruction, or it will not allow a person to grow spiritually. It's all about managing the mind. The whole Gita Shastram is mind management. If the mind is managed well, then the person will have lot of time. We will not complain about not having time. Not having time for Vedanta Shravana. Not having time for doing Upasana. So therefore, at the physical level, Dhamma is very important. In fact, in the beginning, at the physical level, we need Dhamma. At the physical level, the management, the control is shutting down the door of the sense organs. Not seeing what should not be seen. Not hearing what you don't want to hear. But ears doesn't have shutter. Helplessly you have to hear, but you can move away from the place if you don't want to hear. That is Dhamma. Not want to see, you can shut down the eyes. That is Dhamma. Not wanting to speak, you can shut your mouth. Not wanting to eat something which is prohibited. Shastra prohibits certain things. Shastra says should not be eaten. Mamsam na bhakshayet, suram na pibet. Shut down the mouth. Not allow the things to enter your mouth. Not allow the mouth to utter any bad words. Even lies or cursing others. Shut down the mouth. All these are controlling managing the sense organs at the physical level. This is called tapas. What is tapas? This is what is called tapas. Not allowing the sense organs to do what it generally does. What it generally does. Sense organ, they are just reporters. Therefore they report, but not allowing even to collect information at the physical level. That is called Dhamma. That is called Dhamma. It is called tapas. It is called tapas. Tapas at the physical level. So, in the 17th chapter of the Gita, Bhagavan Krishna, he talks about tapas at various levels. At the level of speech, at the level of thinking, there are tapas at different levels. He says in the same chapter, 14th shloka, that tapas of the shariram, tapas at the physical level. Shariram tapaha. Devat dvija guru pragya pujanam shaucha marjavam brahmacharya mahimsa cha shariram tapa uchyate. That is tapas. Tapas meaning the discipline, self-discipline. That is called tapas. Even Dhamma is self-discipline. So discipline, self-discipline at the level of physical body. Shariram, Sharira tapas. What is that Sharira tapas? Deva Dvijakuru Pragya Pujanam. Pujanam is worship, upasana. So worshipping Deva, Ishtadevata, and Dvija is Brahmana. Brahmanas are worshipable. They deserve worship. A Vaidika Brahmana who does Veda Adhyayanam, who does Nitya Karma, they represent Vedas. Therefore, they are worshipable. So Brahmanas and teachers, gurus, Guru and Prajnaha, intelligent. Prajnaha is the intelligent people. Worshipping, not literally making them sit and offer puja, kumkum, means they should be honored. That's called worshipping. And shaucham at the external level. Shaucham, cleanliness, and arjavam, straightforwardness. Straightforwardness is very important. It's an important discipline. Aligning the mind, the speech, and the body in terms of thinking, in terms of speaking, and in terms of executing what is taught. Everything should be in alignment. That is called straightforwardness, arjavam. Having one thing in mind, saying something, and doing another thing. It's a split person. That person is a split personality person. So, arjavam. Rujubhavaha, straightforwardness. Then brahmacharya, self-discipline. Brahmacharya, ahimsa. Ahimsa is very important. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. Not hurting, whether by words or by action, even at the level of thinking. At least at the level of action, ahimsa. This is shariram tapaha. Shariram tapas. Similarly, vangmaya Vangmayam tapas and Manasam tapas, Manasa tapas. Vangmayam tapaha uchyate. What are they? Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. This vang tapas, vak tapas is very important. Vak tapas, vak means speech. Tapas, discipline. So discipline of speech. So anudvegakaram vakyam, the speech which doesn't cause any disturbance, agitation. And what we speak must be the truth. We should not speak untruth. Satyam. And the satyam also should be priyam. Hitam should be priyam, should be pleasing and should be beneficial. Even if it is satyam, satyam bruyat. Satyam api apriyam na bruyat. We should speak the truth, but even if the truth is not priyam, it is not pleasing, then don't. Then swadhyaya abhyasanam. Swadhyaya, daily study. Study of Shastra is important. Daily study and repetition of the Veda or whatever mantras one know. The Vedanta Shravanam is very important. This is the tapas at the level of speech. At the level of speech. Similarly, there is tapas at the level of mind. Manasa tapas. Manasam tapaha uchyate. Manah prasada somhyatvam. Maunamatma vinigraha. Bhavasam shuddhirityetat. Tapo manasam uchyate. Manaprasada is very important, and that is the indicator for the person who is in this path of moksha. Manaprasada means cheerfulness. Manaprasada is cheerfulness. A cheerful person. If a person is cheerful, then we can see certain contentment, certain satisfaction the person enjoys leading this pursuit. Manaprasada is there, only then this moksha pursuit also will be enjoyable. The moksha pursuit will be enjoyable only when Manaprasada is there. This is a sign, this is an indication, the cheerfulness. You are allowed to spread only the cheerfulness to others. If you are cheerful, you will make the whole surrounding cheerful. If you are moody or if you are depressed, then you will make the whole ambience also depressed. Swami Vivekananda, he says, if you are depressed, if you are moody, better be in your room, don't come out. This was the instruction he gave to the monastic members of the Ramakrishna Math, the order. If you are depressed or moody, then don't come out. Don't spread this uncheerfulness to others. It's a disease. And that too, for a spiritual sadhaka, Manaprasada is very important. The cheerfulness. The cheerfulness comes out of contentment. The cheerfulness comes out of self-acceptance. Therefore, Manaprasada, it's very important. Then Saumyatvam, mental cheerfulness manifests in expression. Same cheerfulness expressed physically in the form of a pleasing personality, a pleasing person. Saumyatvam. Saumya is a beautiful word. Shastra, you will find the teacher in many places, he will address a student as, hey Saumya, oh beautiful one, oh pleasing one. The teacher encourages the student to be, asking to be more pleasing. Be peaceful. Be peaceful. Don't have a depressed look, a saddened appearance. Be pleased. Be peaceful. Maunam Atma Vinigraha. This Atma Vinigraha. Maunam. Maunam is no pressure to talk. No pressure. There should not be any the pressure to talk. If pressure to talk is there, that shows some problem. It's an indication of the 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 lack of the shama, and somehow at the level of dhamma, some some controlling factor is there. Therefore, is not talking, but the pressure is there. Even that pressure also should not be there. That is Maunam Atma Vinigraha. When you are asked, you can give suggestion. Unsolicited suggestion, nobody will like. Asked, then we can say something. Unasked, don't say, no problem. It is their problem. So then need not be any pressure inside. If pressure inside, then you can't be free. If pressure is there, then Manaprasada will not be there. Bhava samshuddhirityetat. That is Bhava samshuddhi. Mastery over the mind and the clean intention, that is called the Manasa tapas. The threefold tapas are considered to be the Sattvika tapas. There are different types of tapas. Sattvika tapas, Rajasa tapas, and Tamasa tapas. Tamasa tapas is the self-mortification. That is bathing in the cold water in the Uttarakhand or in the Himalayas, standing in cold water and doing tapas. All these are tamasa tapas. One need not hurt the body and do tapas. Not required. Those tapas are called either rajasa or tamasa tapas. Not eating for continuously for days. Self-mortification. It has got its usage. It has got its scope, but these are not recommended. Sattvika tapas is what important. So tapas is damaha only. What you do when you are observing tapas, you are not allowing the sense organ to go in its way. Vishayebhyah paravartya sthapanam swasvagolake ubhayesham indriyanam sadamaha parikirtitaha. Vishayebhyah paravartya, withdrawing the vishaya, withdrawing from the sense objects and establishing the sense organs in its own place. What sense organs? Both the Jnanendriya and Karmendriya. That is called tapas. That is called damaha. The damaha in the form of tapas. Tapas helps to develop dhamma. Tapas helps to develop dhamma. If dhamma is lacking, then one can take tapas. Okay, one can observe tapas. So therefore, shama and dhamma, these two things, they go together. If shama is lacking, at least if dhamma is there, dhamma protects the person. So shama is vasana tyagaha shamaha, and dhamma is bhagya vrittinam nigraha. Indriya nigraha is dhammaha. And indriyas are considered to be parani. Indriyani paranyavadu. Indriyebhyah param manaha. Indriyas are greater. Without indriya, how can we function? If indriyas are not there, then you will not get any inputs from the external world. Input from the external world comes only through the indriyas. Therefore, they are parani, they are greater. And compared to indriya, what is greater? Manaha. So if you have mastery at the level of mind, then no problem. If not, at least at the level of sense organs. Therefore, indriyani parani. Indriyebhyaha param manaha. So indriyas, the indriyas have to be managed. And how many indriyas we have? We have 5 indriyas. We have 5 indriyas. And among these indriyas, among these 5 indriyas, the nayanam is pradhanam. Sarvendriyanam nayanam pradhanam. Nayanam is eyes. The eyes are most important. Eyes are most important. For seeing, is eyes are important. If you don't have this, the vision, the eyes, then many things you won't be able to appreciate the creation, Bhagavan's beauty. So eyes are important. And Shastram says among all the sense organs, the eyes are pradhanam. And we also add Shravanam, ears also pradhanam, because Shastra Shravanam has to happen only through listening. Therefore, ears also pradhanam for us. Eyes and ears, very important indriyas. And all the indriyas are important, not only eyes. But there is a statement, Sarvendriyanam Nayanam Pradhanam iti. And all the indriyas are important. But if these indriyas are not managed, then it will destroy all the punyam, all the karma palam, punya karma palam, whatever you have earned so far. It will go away. Vishama indriya chuvaraha haranti chira sanchitam dharmam. Sanchitam dharmam, whatever the dharma, punyam you gathered, that all will go away if this indriyas are not managed. Indriyas are compared to chora, thieves. Not that indriyas are thieves. Only if they are managed, then they become thieves. 5 indriyas are for thieves. Bhagavachanam. If it is managed, then it becomes a blessing. It becomes a blessing. If it is not managed, if it is turbulent, then even a learned person will be enslaved. Balavan indriya gramaha vidwan samapi karshati. The indriyas, if they become turbulent, then even it will enslave the vidwan, the learned person, the pandita. So therefore, the indriyas have to be properly managed. And this indriyas, if it is allowed to run over the sense objects all the time, after some time, even when we grow old, still it will be after sense objects. You can imagine how it will be. A person who is elderly person, well, elderly in the sense was grown in terms of years, number of years. And if he doesn't have the management over the sense organs, you can imagine how the person will be. Shankaracharya imagines such type of people also. That is why in Bhajagovindam he says, Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vruddho yati gritva dandam tadapina munchati asha pindam. Seeing such a person, you will not be inspired. Even at this age, even the person has grown old, at this age he doesn't have mastery over, he doesn't have say over his sense organs. Angam galitam. All the angas are galitam, they are loosened, weakened. Galitam. Palitam mundam. The head, the hair has become turned grey. And dashana vihinam. He cannot eat. Dashana is biting. Dashana vihinam, toothless. So he has got mouth but with no teeth, toothless. Vruddha yati. The old man goes. Katam. Dandam grihitva. Holding a stick. He cannot walk independently. Even then, tadapi, if he doesn't give up asha is hopes. Asha pindam. Pinda is a bundle of asha. Is loaded with a lot of hopes and desires. Tadapi na munchati. Even at this age, he doesn't give up his bundle of hopes and desires. What will be the fate of the person? The person, for him, there is no spiritual spiritual thing at all. There's nothing called spiritual for that person. Therefore, at that age also, it is not possible. When you grow over a period of time, then and expecting this managing the sense organs, it's not possible. It has to be done from the beginning stage onwards. So that when you grow, the aging also becomes it becomes a graceful aging. It becomes a graceful aging. You grow gracefully, spiritually, you grow. So therefore, Dhamma is very important. And this has been talked about by many acharyas in the tradition. How Dhamma is important, how the sense organs have to be managed, self-restraining. And Bhartrihari in his Vairagya Shatakam and all, he has talked about this, the sense organs behaving turbulently, how it destroys a person. He has talked a lot. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay.
Yes, Guruji.
Sorry. This happens. When the power goes, meeting gets disturbed. You can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Yes, Guruji.
So Vairagya Shatakam is another beautiful text. The name itself shows Vairagya Shatakam. Shatakam is a collection of 100 verses, shlokas, which gives you Vairagya. Reading which gives you Vairagya. So Vairagyam and the Dhamma, they are connected. Only when you have Vairagyam, then you will have Dhamma also. If Vairagyam is there, Dhamma will be there. If there is a slack in Vairagya, then the sense organs, then we need, if slack in Vairagya is there, then we need Dhamma. Because Vairagya is not total. Still there is a longing for the enjoyment of sense objects. That is the looseness, slackness of Vairagya. If Vairagya is there, then sense organs will not run towards sense objects. But it is, since it is lacking or it is less, therefore we need to contain the sense organs at the physical level. All this for our spiritual growth. It takes our time. It takes our energy, mental energy, and mental time all the more. That is the problem. We are not available for the moksha pursuit. Our time is taken away by all these sense objects. So therefore, Dhamma is very important. And in Vairagya Shatakam, Bhartrihari clearly says, all these asha, desires, they will never go. It will be there. You will think that the desire will go when you accomplish the desire. It is not like that. No desire will dissipate. It will not go. It will continue to be because the vasanas are created. Once the vasanas are created, there will be continuous anchoring for it. May not be immediate, but after some time, the same desire will crop up, may crop up, not will crop up, may crop up. But if the person has more vairagya, then we will keep all the sense objects away. Bhogana bhukta vayameva bhuktaha. Tapona taptam vayameva taptaha. Bhoga, all the bhoga vishayas, they are not consumed. We are not consuming the bhoga vishayas. The vishayas are consuming us. We are not enjoying the sense objects. The sense objects are enjoying us because it takes away our time, our energy. It takes away my privilege of becoming free. The sense objects, it takes away my privilege of becoming free. Therefore, they are enjoying me. I am not enjoying them. Tapona taptam vayameva taptaha. And ours, we are consumed. We are consumed. We are consumed by the fire. Instead of tapas, austerities by fire, what happens? We become scorched. We ourselves become scorched. Tapaha. Tapona taptam vayameva taptaha. We are scorched by the onslaught of the sense organs. Kalona yato vayameva yataha. Time do not go. Time doesn't expire. We expire. Time always is there. It is always present. Time is going to be all the time. There is no time where time is not. As long as this Srishti creation is there, time is there. Present tense, past tense, future tense, it is going to be there with respect to someone or some location, some space and time. They go together. So it is going to be there. But what about us? Time will not expire. We expire. And desires, they do not. Jirnaha. Na jirna, vayameva jirnaha. Desires do not go, but we go. There is no point where I am free from desires. Desires keep on haunting me all the time. So what is the way? The way is damaha. Damaha is the only way. That is why it is important. Shamaha, damaha. You can see the order, how beautifully this order is. Shama and damaha. All these things, these spiritual qualifications, hello, namaste. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So all this spiritual, this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, it is not that the acharya says. It is not the invention of acharya. It's all there in the Upanishads. The Upanishads says all these things about the sadhana chatushtayam, but not in a systematic way. It's all gathered. It's all scattered. It's all scattered all over. And the tradition, the acharyas who have the knowledge of the entire shastram, they gather the sadhanam from different places. They gather all the sadhanam from different places of the Upanishads and put it in a systematic way and present in the form of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. And how beautifully it is presented, starting from Viveka, Vairagya, and Samadhi Shakka sampatti. Very systematic approach. Very systematic approach to the study of Shastram and mentioning the Adhikaritva as part of Anubandha Chatushtayam. So everything is systematic. It started with Anubandha Chatushtayam. In the Anubandha Chatushtayam, one of the important things is Adhikari. And who is an Adhikari? The one who has all this sadhana Chatushtayam is an Adhikari. It's all beautifully, systematically is presented. Okay, now having talked about Damaha, the next one is Uparamaha. Uparamaha kaha. Uparama. Kaha means what? We know. Kim Shabda. Makarantaha, Pullingaha, Kim Shabdaha. You can watch all these interrogative pronouns. Kaha, ka, iti. Ka is Strilinga. Titiksha ka. Uparamaha, kaha. Samadhanam, kim. Samadhanam is Napumsakalinga, therefore kim. So kaha, kaha means what? What is Uparama? Who asks the Shishya, the disciple, asks the teacher. Kaha Uparamaha, what is Uparamaha? The teacher says, Swadharmanushtanam eva. This is one definition of Uparama. Uparama means Swadharmanushtanam. This is one definition of Uparama. Uparama has got other definitions also that I will tell you later. Let us go with the definition of Tattva Bodha. It says Swadharma Anushtanam. Emphasize on, you can see the emphasis on dharma, swadharma. Dharma meaning one's karma, the duty. Dharma can mean so many things, but here it is swadharma. Swa means one's own. Swasya, one's own. Dharma, karma. Swasya karma, swasya dharma, one's own dharma. That is called duty. Anushtanam, observing, following one's own dharma. Following one's own dharma is called Uparamaha. Following one's own karma, what one is supposed to do. That is Uparama. This is one definition. Let us analyze this definition. Dharma. In our Shastram, two types of dharmas are talked about. Two types of dharmas are talked about. Dharma like ahimsa. Ahimsa, non-violence, not hurting others by vak, by thoughts, by speech, by words, or by action. That is ahimsa. Ahimsa is it for me, is it for you, or is it only for in the past or only in the future? No, it is all the time for all the people. Ahimsa is a universal value. It is for everyone, for every human being, any being. It is universal. Any human being, for any human being, the important dharma is ahimsa. It's a basic important value. That is why it's called universal Samanya Dharma. Samanya Dharma. The Samanya Dharma everybody knows. Samanya Dharma everybody knows, but whether everybody follows, that's a big question. This is Samanya Dharma. Ahimsa, non-hurting. The simple logic behind is, I don't want to get hurt. Similarly, others also feel, therefore I should not hurt. So, restraining oneself from hurting others. That is ahimsa. Important dharma. Important dharma. Similarly, there are other dharmas. Satyam, daya, speaking the truth, being compassionate to other beings. All these are one type of dharma, Samanya Dharma. There are other duties. There are other duties which are not Samanya, which are not common, which depends on different factors, like the Varna, Varnashrama, Varna and Ashrama. Varnashrama means in which stage of life he is in. Whether he is in Grihastha Ashrama, Brahmacharya Ashrama, or Grihastha Ashrama, or Vanaprastha Ashrama, or Sannyasa Ashrama, different stage of life, in which Ashrama he is, and what is his age, vayas, and what is his condition. Whether the person is intact, all the physical organs are functioning, does he have any deficiency? Depends on so many factors. So, Varna Ashrama Vyavastha. Varna Ashrama Vyavastha. Based on that, there are duties which differ from person to person. Like a brahmachari in the brahmacharya ashrama, he has got certain dharma, certain duties. His main duty is to study. Veda Adhyayanam is his important dharma. And for a grihastha, he has got certain duties. In addition to following the Vedika karma, he has got family responsibility as a husband, father, and as a son to his father. So he's got many responsibilities, and social responsibility is there. So therefore, the duty of a person varies. For brahmachari, it is different. For grihastha, it is different. Therefore, depending on the stage of life, the varnashrama, different dharmas are there. These dharmas are called Vishesha Dharma. So two types of dharma, Vishesha, Samanya and Vishesha. Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma. And here we are saying Swadharma, one's own particular duty, Dharma, Swadharma. And this Swadharma, when we say, it is not samanya, it is not universal. It varies from person to person. If the person is a kshatriya, his swadharma is different from a brahmana. Brahmana's swadharma, kshatriya swadharma is different. Vaishya swadharma is different from the kshatriya. Brahmana swadharma is to protect the Vedas. Kshatriya swadharma is to protect the Brahmanas, to protect the Vedas. How do you protect the Vedas? By protecting the Brahmanas. As long as the Brahmanas are there, the dharma is. Only when dharmis are protected, dharma will continue to be. Dharma has its location in dharmis, the follower of dharma. The follower of dharma, or the one who has the knowledge of the Veda, who has that dharmis, Brahmanas. And it is the duty of the kshatriya to protect the dharma by protecting the dharmis. Dharma rakshanam is possible only by protecting the dharmis. Dharmi rakshanam, protecting the dharmis, is for the sake of protecting the dharma. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Paritranaya sadhunam. Sadhunam paritranaya. Why sadhus, that is noble people, should be protected? Because only when they are protected, dharma can be saved. Dharma can be protected. That is why he said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When dharma declines, the declension of dharma is possible only when these dharmis, they slip from dharma or they are not protected. Two possibilities. Either the follower of dharma, that is dharmis, they don't follow, or they are threatened. They are not safe. Only two possibilities. If they are not following, then it's a problem. But if they follow, but there is no ambience for them to observe dharma, then they have to be protected. They have to be protected. The Vedas will continue to exist as long as the Brahmanas are there. And Vedas are the source of dharma. So, dharma rakshanam, when we say, it is dharmi rakshanam. Otherwise, there is no dharma rakshanam. So, therefore, the swadharma differs from person to person. Swadharma differs from in what ashrama, in what varna the person is. So, therefore, when we say swadharma anushtanam, we cannot clearly define what is one's swadharma. What is the swadharma of a spiritual aspirant? Even though you are a spiritual aspirant, your swadharma differs from the another person is also a spiritual aspirant. So your role is different from his role. Even your role, belonging to a particular varna and ashrama, you are playing a certain role. That role also changes. That role also changes with respect to time, with respect to place. What is my swadharma? That I alone have to decide based upon my position, based upon the status, based upon the condition. So many other factors are there. So one has to use his intelligence to understand what one's Swadharma is. And once it is known, following that, implicitly following one's Swadharma is called Uparama. Uparamaha is following one's own Swadharma. That is called Uparama. If Swadharma is not followed, it's very important. If Swadharma is not followed, then you are following Paradharma. You are following Paradharma. Either you are following Paradharma or you are not following Dharma. It means you are following Adharma. Only two things. Not doing one's duty is equivalent to taking up the duty of others or doing Adharma. These two things are only possible. Not doing Dharma is also a papam. It's also a violation. It is negligence of duty. And moksha is not for such people. Moksha is for people who follows one dharma. That is why in our tradition, we give more emphasis on duty rather than the privilege. Only when you do your duty, the others will get the privilege. We don't talk about privilege, we talk about duty. It is everybody's duty. Everybody's duty to give the privilege to others by doing one's karma, one's dharma, by observing one's dharma. When that is required for the social maintenance, and what to talk about the spiritual pursuit, moksha, it's all the more required. Therefore, Uparama is also included as part of the one of the sadhana chatushtayam. So this definition of Uparama is from the standpoint of one's dharma. This is one definition. There are other definition for Swadharma, for Uparama. Uparama can also mean sannyasa. Uparama can also mean sannyasa. That we will see. The other meaning of Uparama, what it is, what they are, that we will see in the next class. So we will stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.